I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
All right. Hey, I think I have on the line all the way from beautiful Vancouver, Washington. We have a wondrous couple. I met them at a little, it was a convention with a whole bunch of Baptists crawling all over the place. I'm not sure that these people are what they are, but I know they're good Christians and they're people that care. Do I have Gil and or Brenda on the line?
You indeed do, Pastor Andy. You got us both, and yeah, we were delighted to meet you and all of those other people crawling at the convention.
Now, listen, Gil and Brenda, Stuart, I said you live in Vancouver, but you're actually in a place called Brush Prairie. Is that right?
Yeah, we live in a little area called Brush Prairie, but as the crow flies, we are about 45 minutes from downtown Portland, Oregon.
All right. Well, I got to tell you, it's a beautiful spot, God's country. So tell us, what's this all about? Tell me, what's your ministry all about? What are you doing here?
Well, I've always learned to get ladies go first, so I'm going to put Brenda on the spot. You tell them, Brenda.
Right away, ladies and gentlemen, take notes. This is if you're a man, baby, you've got a successful marriage tip right there. Deferring to your wife. There you go.
It's because I'm chicken. I've learned by bumping my nose many times by not letting her talk up first. So here I go again, talking first.
So what's the question?
The question is, how did you get mixed up in this ministry of ministry to those that are really getting remarried?
Right. Well, honestly, it's out of our story and out of our pain. My first marriage was 19 years. Gil's was 24, and really never thought I'd be on this side of the fence of marriage, but here we are. And we've been married 14 and a half years, and we've just learned a lot from a lot of different people through our journey. And as we began to share what we were learning early on, everyone encouraged us to, write it down. And we developed a seminar and create a book, and now we have a workbook and a small group DVD. And we travel nationally and do workshops and seminars and retreats.
Well, back up a little bit. You mentioned your story, and you mentioned the word pain. Do you mind going into that just a little bit?
Yeah, I think, Gil and I were both involved very heavily in our church, and I think it's very easy to get to a point to slap a Jesus label on your marriage and think that you're bulletproof. And when both of our ex-spouses left us, it was devastating because it was the loss of what we intended to be a lifelong relationship. And as happily married as we are now, there are still wounds and scars that, we're reminded of that pain. Every kid, we have 7 children, every kid that gets married, every grandbaby that's born, there's still that remembrance of what could have been or what should have been.
I would say it's the remnants of what we refer to as the great train wreck, as it not only affected and impacted us individually, but of all things, our children and now grandchildren and parents and grandparents, because it has a ripple effect. And so the pain sometimes is really what we press into when we begin to encourage other couples who are in blended families and step families, because people tend to get real quick when they start talking about the difficulties that they are living in and the sadness that they've left behind. But I think that's one of the things about what we do is to express that there's some hope. There's some things that can be done to make a remarriage and a step family a thriving family unit, but it takes a lot of work.
But wait a minute now. Don't most remarriages, isn't it like the Brady Bunch, and you're just hopeful and it's all going to work out except for Marsha getting hit with the football.
And we don't have orange countertops.
And don't have a maid and a butcher. Yeah. I mean, I think the Brady Bunch is kind of a stereotypical, you can fix it all. But no, it really is kind of a big fat lie. You can't fix things, and you live with the aftermath of some bad decisions. Sometimes our own, sometimes other people who are no longer in our home but still have an impact on us. I think the one thing about the Brady Bunch is, if you note the story, they never mentioned anything about the exes, whether they were divorced or if they had passed away, and any influence on the existing family and the new marriage.
I have the exclusive. They both spouses died, and they were murdered by each other's by Jan. Not funny. Listen, coming to a remarried situation, what's like? Do you have a stat on how successful, not successful remarriages are?
Within the first 2 years, a remarriage will experience what a first-time marriage will take within about 7 years. Things are accelerated. So typically, in a remarriage, the divorce rate is anywhere between 50 to 60% because of lots of issues, and within the first 2 years. Want to add to that, Brenda?
Yeah, and the stats show that third marriages are at like 70% divorce rate. So, but that first stat of 60% of remarriages failing within the first 2 years, we found that a lot of those marriages would have been helped with two things, and one is information, and the other is fellowship. And
explains fellowship.
Well, hanging out and being supportive.
Community,
around other people that are remarried. And sometimes that's hard because those of us that are remarried, especially in the church, still carry a lot of shame. And Sunday morning we want to just blend in and look like a regular nuclear family because we don't want to look different.
You mean in the year 2017, wait, let me check my watch. Yep, still 2017. Are we still at a point where, like, there's that scarlet letter, the D on people's sweater that says, "Oh, you're divorced"? I mean,
absolutely.
Oh, come on.
There.
Listen,
not a lot of grace.
If you're in a church like that, just run out of there like your hair's on fire, people. Because
right.
Last time I checked, we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And people who divorce, you're not like getting divorced every day. This is not a perpetual thing. And boy, but by the grace of God, if my wife just wasn't crazy enough to put up with me, and she does put up with me.
We know a good counselor.
And who might that be?
So we counsel and coach people in our local area and coach with couples around the country in and around the issues of marriage and remarriage.
It seems hard enough because you're bringing the same baggage. I mean, not you guys. People who are getting remarried are bringing the same baggage in. As you say, it's been accelerated. But now you not only have the emotional issues that you're bringing into this relationship, you've got often children. How
we refer to the children as those people.
Yeah? Why do you give them that label? What's that all about?
Well, it's basically, what are those people doing?
Yeah, when are those people leaving?
When are those people coming back? What are those people going to do next? Yes, we love them, but oh my goodness.
I think most of the couples we work with, Andy, when they're having challenges at home with the kids, it's usually, they're usually fine, but it's the kids that bring in the challenges because a lot of them are still grieving the loss of their last family. So it's like, how can we lovingly come alongside these kids and give them hope, hear their heart, and encourage them that we're investing in our new legacy here.
Right. I mean, we were all excited about getting remarried, and after the first few years, we kind of figured out the kids weren't really too excited about it because they were having to go back and forth. They didn't have the security, the safety of a family home. They had to go back and deal with adjustments all of the time. And in some step family situations, we heard of one just yesterday where the kid exchange between the parents was more like a POW swap than it was actually a loving exchange of their child that they brought into the world. It's amazing, but there's so much emotional power attached to this stuff. So those people, we love them, but boy, we really need to have a lot of mercy and empathy for them because they're really in a tough spot.
We are talking with Gil and Brenda Stuart. They are experts in being remarried and just what you need to do. They say if you ain't got the marriage, you ain't got nothing. So they're big believers in marriage and remarriage if you are wise enough to, get started by logging in to their website, which is restoredandremarried.com, restoredandremarried.com. All together. Listen, can you two stay on? I know it's late, but I think you're on the same. Sun's probably not even set way up there in the great north. But can you stay on just past the break?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because I'd love to continue to talk about those people, a.k.a. the kids, and how those wonderful, pure, innocent children can manipulate parents. And let's find out how that dynamic works. This is Angels Radio, AM 830 KLAA. The show is Your Wonderful Life.
Of a lovely lady who was bringing up three very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mother.
Angels Radio,
AM 830.
Hello, Bill Hatch, co-host of Your Wonderful Life here. I want to share with you what's going on here on our little program.
What's going on?
First, know we have been incredibly blessed to be on the air for over 4 years.
That's a miracle.
We receive generous help from our sponsors and donors, but each month we come up just a little short.
About 4 or 5.
Please help us stay on the air by tucking in a donation of any amount. Even a buck will help. The great news is we are growing our listenership.
About up to 17.
So what could be better? We could expand this ministry and let people know they can have a wonderful life in other places around the country. Won't you prayerfully consider helping us grow this ministry and get the good news out to lost souls who desperately need an encouraging word? Please click on pastorndq.com to find out how to give your tax-deductible gift. That's pastorndq.com, and help us bless others with the message of your wonderful life.
When it comes to your smile, you want the best, right? Dr. Stephen Tassoni and his crew voted Best Dental Office in the South Bay 6 years in a row. For an appointment, call 310-791-2041. That's 310-791-2041. Once again, that's 310-791-2041. To book online, newsmilesdentistry.com. That's newsmilesdentistry.com. Once again, newsmilesdentistry.com.
Angels Radio,
AM 830.
Of a man named Brady who was busy with three boys of his own. They were 4 men living all together, yet they were all alone.
Pastor Andy Q. The show is called Your Wonderful Life. We get together every week at this time to talk about your life. Life is not perfect. It is no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise, especially if you run into the rocky storms of troubles in marriage. Maybe it leads to divorce. And then you're saying, well, I've met this other person and it's time to get remarried. That's where this amazing couple steps in. And listen, they sound so on and so on target, and they know what they're talking about. Beth Nielsen, who is with us on the Rock Candy radio show that precedes our show, she got in her car, came back from the parking lot right up here. She said, hey, I want to go on the air. I just want to sit down and talk with these people because I may have a question or two for them. So if I let you get a word in edgewise with Gil and Brenda Stuart, Beth, I'll let you do that. But I want to talk first about those people, those other people, the ankle biters, the crumb crunchers, or even the teenagers who make our lives difficult enough. Come on, they're a blessing from God. Yes, they are, those kids. But they, even in the best of marriages, boy, they make our lives tough, and they can be manipulative. What happens? Are there any dynamics in a remarriage situation that make it particularly tricky to have these wonderful other people?
Yeah, I think one thing I would add to your list is adult children. Because it's amazing when we work with couples or meet couples that have, all the kids are out of the house and their kids are all off and married, and they think, we're not going to have any problems because they're out of the picture, and that's not going to happen.
Right.
Doesn't matter how old the kids are, whether they're in the house, whether they're 40 or 50 years old, they're still going to have feelings and dynamics, about this new marriage.
And they weigh in, and just kids. I mean, I understand with the younger ones, but adult kids, time to butt out, please.
Right.
I would think so.
Yeah.
We're talking with Gil and Brenda Stuart. They are experts in restoration of marriage and really remarriage. A whole big wagon load of resources on their website, restoredandremarried.com. Restoredandremarried.com. They know from personal experience, from whence they speak, from whatever the expression is. You know what you're talking about. And I was impressed when I met you two wondrous people, and you're the real deal. You're not a phony couple. I don't know. Maybe life's perfect. You figured out all the tricks and marriage of your several years of marriage. What is that? 14, 17 years? What did you say?
Yeah, we've been married 14 and a half years. We have 7 kids between us. I had 4. Brenda had 3. But I think to kind of help people understand the acceleration, there's a little equation we came up with years ago called remarried math. And so it kind of goes like this. You take the number of years you've been married, the 2 of you, the new remarriage, in our case 14 and a half years, times 7. That's the total number of children we have together. So what is that, about 98 or... So actually we've been married 98 years.
And then we say to the 6th power because we have 6 grandbabies.
This makes a lot of sense to people who've maybe only been married 2 or 3 years, but they have maybe 4 or 5 children between the 2 of them. And typically when we do the remarried math for them, they look at us with glee going, you get it. You actually get it, because it feels like we've been married longer than we really have.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on. I mean, when you talk about those people, they're dealing with blending, and technically step family is the scientific term, because blending may or may not happen. As the child is younger, sure, there's a wider window of influence. There's a better chance of bonding with the step-parent and the step-child. But the biological parent and the biological kiddo, they are, it is true, blood is thicker than water and a remarriage. Yes. And so being able to slow down as a step-parent and let that stepchild set the pace is a big, big word of caution and advice. And don't exert your authority as a step-parent too soon. You may be a parent, you may be an adult, yes, you know what it's supposed to be like, but this is a very slow process. The average statistic for a blended family to blend, if they ever do, is anywhere between 5 to 7 years. So if you're into it 2 or 3 years and things aren't going so well, you're right on time.
I imagine if you were to try to exert your authority too soon, you would hear the phrase,
"You ain't my mom."
Yes, you got it. Boy. And
you ain't my dad.
And, I got to say, the kid has a point, because...
Well, I often wonder sometimes if people don't really get the fact that there was a really famous stepchild by the name of Jesus.
Wow.
And when you think about it, if you were Joseph
child.
and Jesus looked up at you and said, "You ain't my dad," I would go, "You are absolutely right."
Well, I don't know. He could have been literally taken to the woodshed. But since Jesus lived a sinless life, I don't know, as a child,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You didn't have to go to the woodshed.
We could look at that. We could look at the theology of that. Hey, you talk about something in your work called the rear view mirror. What's that all about?
Yeah, that's another seminar we offer that's for all marriages, and it's Your Marriage, What's in Your Rearview Mirror. And it's kind of a fun, whimsical time. It's usually like a Friday night, Saturday morning presentation we do for all marriages. And, we talk about the different stages of marriage, and we are really big on giving people tools they can use right away, right then and there. And it's very interactive. And, I mean, our goal is to stop divorce and stop re-divorce in the remarriage world because, yeah. Don't get me started on my soapbox.
You're already there.
Oh.
Well, I think you've dedicated your life to your soapbox because, listen, I've visited with you. I've seen the first-class materials that you've produced. If someone wants to get started in working with you, what should they do? I know you've got some books out. What would you recommend if someone, say, was contemplating getting remarried?
Oh, that's even better. We love to work with people that are dating or engaged because we really want them to be able to go into their relationship to have their eyes wide open because, when you're in love, you have the rose-colored glasses on and you may not see all the pitfalls coming your way. Mm-hmm. So probably the best way is to contact us through our website, which is restoredandremarried.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter.
You can send smoke signals.
Yeah. We're pretty old school, Phone number would be 360-904-2117.
Well, just go, unless you're Beth Nielsen, you can. Everybody else in the world uses the website. So restoredandremarried.com would be just a great way to get in touch. Any last bits of real piece of advice? I've only got about 30 seconds, but I don't want to leave anything out if you've got anything else that you want to share.
One concept we share is about getting behind your wall. It talks about building a unity for the couple. And sometimes you need unity even when you're fighting. Say to one another, oops, we need to get behind our wall. Protect the marriage first. That's why the theme is if you ain't got the marriage.
You ain't got nothing.
Oh, there you are.
Marriage is the best gift you can give your kids, whether you're remarried or in a first-time marriage.
And pray. Lots of wisdom.
And I can't tell you how happy I am to hear that you have started this work. How long have you been doing this?
12 years.
Wow,
We've been
good for
presenting
you.
12 years around the United States and once in Canada. We may be having an invitation to Australia, we hope.
Oh, that's fantastic. And, I am in a blended family myself. Mm-hmm. And I had thought so many years when raising my husband's children from his prior marriage, I wish there were support groups or people that you could reach out to as the step parent coming in. And I just had never heard of anything like this. So good for you. God bless you guys.
And with that wonderful ringing endorsement, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you it's Gil and Brenda Stuart. We've been talking with them, restoredandremarried.com. Thanks for joining us on Your Wonderful Life.
Great. Thank you
so much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And the rest of you can join us next week. We'll be here. We love to hear from you on the Facebook pages, Your Wonderful Life, or you can go PastorAndyQ.com. That's all the time we have for now. Stay tuned to Community Cares with Tammy Trujillo. Tammy cares, the Angels Baseball Organization cares, we care, and even Rocco cares. This is Angels Radio, AM 830 KLAA.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.